This is Nick Hinckley with New Roots News, and I'm here with Herb Snitzer, internationally known photographer, writer, author, artist, many other things, who resides here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Herb, how long have you been a photographer?
Well, Nick, over 50 years. I actually started making photographs when I was in the military in 1953. That's when I really began to get serious about photography. I went back to college, finished my degree, and moved to New York. And really started my professional career in 1958 in New York City. And I lived and worked in New York for 7 very intense and wonderful years. I moved there because of the intensity of the photographic world, which was very small in those days. I mean, everybody knew each other, and we all had projects. I met Edward Steichen, W. Eugene Smith, Lucien Clerc. I mean, these were my contemporaries.
Was there a particular topic or area of life that drew you to photography, that you wanted to capture that?
Yeah, I was a social commentator. That's what I used my photography for. I still do. For the last number of years, I journeyed up to Fort Benning, Georgia, with the School of the Americas and the major big protest. Not only because I wanted to be there photographically, I wanted to be there politically, socially, and personally, because of the images that I knew I would be making, which is to comment on culture, on American culture.
The way I was introduced to you was through your photographs of musicians. Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane. What can you tell us about those years?
Well, I can tell you a lot about those years because each of the ones that you've just mentioned, Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane, I knew, hung out with, photographed, took a bus trip with Louis Armstrong, knew Miles Davis for 30 years. And it was a transforming time for the music, not just the music itself, but the people who played it, because the vast majority of people who were involved with the new jazz, the up-and-coming, the bebop scene from the 40s on, were black. And so it was a commentary on creativity by people who at one point in the not too distant past were subservient and were seen or not seen. You know, it's like black people didn't exist except when we needed our houses cleaned. So when this group, this huge group of musicians, mainly black musicians, burst upon the musical scene, it was a social political commentary as well. And for me, jazz has always been a music of freedom. And not to say that there weren't white musicians who were great musicians, like Stan Getz and Zoot Sims and even Benny Goodman, you know, as difficult as he was. It was a moment in time that, and I happened to be there when all of this was taking place. I mean, you can't find anybody more political than Nina Simone, right? Yeah. Well, Nina was one of my closest friends.
So switching gears a little bit here, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're an analog photographer. Is there any reason why you never made the transition over to digital?
Well, yeah, there are a number. I love to be in the darkroom. I love the quietness and the darkness. And I prefer to make silver gelatin images as opposed to digital images, which to me have a flatness. They look flat. Yeah. And I'm sure in time, because you're using inks, so in time I'm sure there will be a high resolution of digital photography. It's probably happening as we speak. that young people are making prints that are beautiful to look at, that have a quality about them which is captivating. And that's what I think, well, that's what I know my photography is all about. You know, I'm not interested in fashion, although that's its own metaphor about a way of looking at culture. But I had a little bit more of a gritty relationship with the world. And my photographs, some of them are hard to live with, and others are pleasant. But that's what life is all about. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's pleasant. Yeah. It's been a wonderful career for me. And like I say, I've met some great people along the way, so it's been very satisfying.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Herb. I appreciate your time today. And where can we find you online?
Well, Herb Snitzer at AOL.com, and I have a website, www.herbsnitzer.com. I have this new book coming out, so that's on Amazon already. So that's where you can find me. It's Salt Creek Artworks, 1600 4th Street South in St. Pete.
All right. You heard it from Herb. Thanks, Herb. Take care.
All right. Thanks.